What is going on, ladies and gentlemen of the tribe, and welcome back to another Galaxy of Heroes video with me. That's right, your bold boy Scribble. How the devil are we all doing today? You're all looking beautiful, by the way. Anyway, Datacrons. Dude, Datacrons. Brah. It was totally tubular. Where was I going with this? Datacrons. Yeah, so the recent changes to Datacrons, the CG sort of doing this whole flip-flop. I don't know, we want to do this, but then we want to do that, and then we're going to go ahead and just contradict what we were saying before. Absolutely fine. They've done some additional changes, and I wanted to go over this recent set and shed some bright news about this new Datacron set that you might find entertaining. Alright, so first and foremost, we've got Conquest starting on Monday, everybody's favorite game mode. Apart from Colosseum, am I right? Apparently game modes that start with CO just do really well in this game. Do really well. Actually, you know, I'm only half joking. I actually quite enjoy Conquest. I find it to be quite a fun game mode. I'll have guides out going through all the feats and all that good gubbins, that nonsense, because we all want to be getting Satil Shan. And I'm not talking about in the game. I'm so childish. Anyway, what was I going to say? Yes, new Conquest is starting. Couple of things, heads up. There will be no Relic Delta active in this version of Conquest. I think myself and many other players assumed it would be, because CG's original post on the whole error front and Relic Delta coming into the game was stating stuff along the lines of, hey, the Stranger's Conquest will not have Relic Delta. We're going to be adjusting Conquest after the end of Stranger's Conquest to adapt to Relic Delta. They've done that bit. They've lowered the relic levels. They've upped the stats to basically put us at a net neutral position, we hope. I mean, I'm assuming that's what the purpose was. Lower the stats so that, you know, lower the relic levels so that Relic Delta is a bit more easily manageable for smaller accounts, but raise the stats so that they have parity to what they used to be like when they were like Relic 7, 8 and all that sort of nonsense, right? So Relic Delta is not active, but the lower relic levels are and the increased stats are as well. So contradicting things right there, but it should net out to a net zero. Hopefully it does. We're going to find out in a couple of days. We also have the new Datacron set, and with this new approach that CG has taken, they've just changed things up again with this Datacron set. You know what I mean? Like, for some reason, there's just no consistency at the moment. There's no consistency. So we've got focused Datacrons, and focused Datacrons can basically be used by anything. Over here you've got Gear 1, Gear 2, Gear 3, like really accessible, easy to reach targets. And over here it goes to Gear 5 because it's a level 15, and over here same Gear 5 because it's level 15, yada yada yada. FTCs are a little bit like that. And if you looked at the previous set, the one that they just went completely ham, buck wild, busted, and gave everybody a boatload of refresh materials and all this sort of nonsense, this was Relic 1, Gear 12, and Gear 10. And the reason this had a lower level of requirement is because it was a celebration of the anniversary that everybody loves so much. Right? But if we look at sets before that, like Whispers of Wealth, you can see the normal standard amount of relic requirements. For going up to level 3, you need Relic 1s. For Relic 6, you need Relic 3. And going up to the maximum, you need to have Relic 3 still. Relic 5, sorry. Relic 5 on the level 9. Apologies. They've changed that up again now for some reason. I don't know why. Basically, to go to level 3, you need Relic 2. To go to level 6, you need Relic 4, and to get a Relic 9, you need Relic 6. A level 9 needs Relic 6. I don't know why they changed this. You know, to me, 135 felt perfectly fine, and they've just bumped those numbers up one. But they've also decreased the life cycle of these so that they're just disappearing insanely quickly, so we're going to have to keep on refreshing massively. So the purpose of this video, now that we've got all that big exposition out of the way, I'm a wonderful storyteller, am I not? That's right, I'm not. Is that these Datacron sets here, and we're only getting alternating FDCs now, so that we won't be getting FDCs on a regular schedule. Well, we will, but it's a different schedule. And yes, in Britain we say schedule, not schedule. Get over it. Instead of having them come out every month, they're every other month, right? Every other month you get FDCs, and I'm hoping that they adjust the cost. They have adjusted the cost of the reroll materials for this, but they've also lowered the number of factions and permutations of abilities that we're getting, okay? So I wanted to go over the good news about this change. The good news about this change is this Datacron set is largely forgettable. It just kind of is. Like, honestly, I go through that Datacron set and I can find one Datacron that I even think is even mildly useful. And that, to me, seems to be the Huyang Datacron. The Huyang Datacron does seem to be very good, okay? This is the only one, in my opinion, out of all the level 9s that actually stands out. So let me read it. Whenever Huyang uses a special ability, if General Syndulla, Padawan Sabine Wren, and Ezra Bridge or Exile are allies, they each gain 40% offense, 40% crit damage, and 40% defense penetration for 2 turns, and they each assist. So whenever he does a special ability, really nice stat boosts, and they all mass assist, which is going to be very, very useful. Sure, it's only for 2 turns, but that's still very, very powerful, okay? Also, if Ahsoka GL is in the leader slot, then she gains 25% turn meter and offense up for 2 turns. Like, who really cares about the offense up? But 25% turn meter is nice. That's going to make this team even more annoying. Whenever Huyang gains History of the Galaxy, all allies gain stacking critical chance up to 45% and up to 20% offense until the end of the battle. That will happen basically immediately in a GL Ahsoka Tano team, so you're basically just giving them 60% offense and 45% crit chance. Now, when you pair this with the droid level 6, and unfortunately that droid level 6 faction has got like no other synergy with the rest of the team. When you pair this with the, droid allies gaining 400% of their current defense to offense, it's okay, and then they lose 50% defense. Like, it's an okay setup, and then you throw in the light side level 3 of probably 25% turn meter boost to try and cancel out anybody trying to go ahead and use Great Mothers against your Glat. It's kind of like, it's okay. It's okay. Everything else in this set just really feels incredibly lackluster. And I suppose that is a good thing, because if we've got a shorter time frame in which we need to farm these Datacrons to use them, it's better if you're not feeling pressured to get like, oh, I really must have 6 of these level 9s and 6 of these level 9s, light side and dark side teams, and then I need a whole bunch of really powerful faction mechanics as well, because none of the faction mechanics are particularly strong. They're okay, but none of them are particularly strong, right? So it's like, oh, okay, so it's absolutely fine that we are, well, it's not absolutely fine. I completely disagree with the fact that it's absolutely fine, because now it is very much a rush to Sector 4 bonus nodes to try and farm Datacrons, but at least, I guess, we don't have to worry about it because these Datacrons are just kind of Do you know what I mean? Like, bounty hunters and droids, they might have some use with, the legacy units, the era units become legacy in a month's time. When we get like Zuckuss and Forlom, or we get Asajj come to the game, there's like bounty hunters and droids as applicable there in IG-90. It's like, oh, it's got some bleed over here. I wouldn't be surprised if the Datacron set after this has maybe got rebels, unaligned force users, maybe it's got Sith, maybe, I firmly believe it'll just be one faction of each, one light side faction, one dark side faction, so that they can touch on the new units as they come out. But that's kind of it. It's just like, oh, alright, cool. Even the level 3s, the light side one has got that 25% turn meter. That's nice to have. And also the 15% offense and 20 speed stacking when you lose a unit is okay. The 75%, 50%, 25% health granting them protection up is okay. But that's, it's kind of like, it's not like any of these permutations over here on these factions or the level 3s are absolutely critical when it comes to Datacrons. So I guess maybe CG's whole aim in this, and I might be completely wrong, maybe they made this one decidedly lackluster just because they know they went buck wild on this Datacron set over here. Maybe they went a little bit lackluster on this recent set just to try and counterbalance that, and maybe next set we're going to see some horrendous sets once again, where maybe Evade comes back. We've got wonderful evasion coming back, evasion and defense, because, even the stats are, like, it's not that they're bad stats at all, but if you have a look over here, we've got crit damage, potency, health, protection, health steal, armor, pen, and crit chance. It's like, it's not that they're bad stats, but the ranges aren't great. In particular, look at health steal, 5 to 10%, and then 10 to 20%, and then 20 to 30%. It's like, gone are the days where you could hit like 200% health steal if you had a couple of high roll health steals, Nowadays, you'll be very lucky if the entire thing gives you 100%. Not that that's, not that that's a bad thing. Having too much health steal was really painful. But I don't know, I guess that to me was a bit of a wakening up, a bit of a, oh, well, at least I don't have to worry too much about getting these Datacrons. I'm just going to have to get carried by the pillars of whatever it is, pillars of war, pillars of Rohan going to war. It's going to carry us through the rest of the PvP game modes for the foreseeable future. It does make me feel a little bit concerned. It does, in some ways, it makes me feel a little bit concerned because TW right now, I'm in a big TW guild, or what used to be a big TW guild, and now we are taking it a little bit more relaxed on TW, not completely relaxed, but a little bit more relaxed, simply because TW had very low levels of value anyway, right? The benefit of going into TW was that you were getting some reroll mats for your Datacrons, and you were getting things like droid brains, right? You go to the reward structure over here, and if you happen to win, you're like, okay, we get some aeromags, not droid brains, sorry. You know, like this was useful, right? Because if you wanted to get Relic 9s, you're going to need to have those aeromags. But since the scavenger update has gone ahead and thrown Kyrotech in to be a breakdown mat for aeromags, it's less of an issue now. Less of an issue. I'm saying less of an issue. It's still a little bit of an issue, obviously, because Kyrotech is a bit of a crunch for a lot of people. But it's like there's even less reasons these days to go and operate in TW. And CG doesn't seem to be, you know, that fussed about revitalizing the game mode or giving us some alternative in terms of guild versus guild, player versus player interaction. That doesn't seem to be on the cards, and the same thing can be said of Grand Arena. We haven't had an update to Grand Arena in the longest time. It has been the same sort of stuff we've had for years, basically. You know, the structure hasn't changed, the board hasn't changed at all. We haven't had any new fleet zones, and we now have too many fleets, frankly speaking, in the high end of Kyber. I'm very much hoping that CG is now shifting their focus towards these PvP game modes because they make them decent amounts of money. The reasons people go into things like Colosseum and collect the new heroes and get their Relic 10s is so that they can largely use it in PvP environments to get more rewards. And if the PvP game modes just aren't being a focus, with worse and worse Datacrons and never updating the reward structure to have parity with where we are in the world now, what's the point of doing it? At least that's my take. I know a lot of people do still like Rise of the Empire TB. To me, it's just a drag. It's a long-going thing that's not particularly entertaining, and we do very well in TB. You know, we hit like 49 stars or something like that. I can't remember now. What did we get? We need to check those stats. What did we get last time? Yeah, there we go. 49 stars. So it's not like we're slacking on TB, but realistically, we do that because we're an endgame guild and we have lots of GP. You know, we've got rather large GP-ness in our guild. So I don't know what the purpose of this was. It was basically just telling you guys, basically, don't worry so much about the Datacrons because they all look kind of garbage anyway. They all look kind of garbage. If they're all going to be garbage going forward, then that's a thing. Now, I did put together this little bounty hunter protocol thing over here for you guys to have a look at. Let me hide my face. This will be on my Discord, guys, if anybody's interested in doing this. I decided to throw together at least some of them that looks interesting. Chopper's one is okay. The fact that he can ignore taunts basically means you'll more easily be able to take on Reaver comps, provided they don't have Marok on there. It's very much a niche use unit. Huyang is the only one that seems to make sense to me. You want that defense to offense on the level 6, get the level 9 for Huyang, and just go for maximum amounts of health to make that team bulkier. If you want, you can go for things like Zuckuss, if you've got him invested in. I know he's still a relatively new unit and doesn't really have a home, at least not yet, until we get a Sage, Ventress, Dark Disciple into the game. Again, you want the buffs for offense, and then get that debuff converting into offensive damage output would be nice. Finally, IG-88. His is the only one that maybe has a little bit of viability in terms of theory crafting, ladies and gentlemen. Let me just talk to you a little bit why that is the case. So IG-88's one, he is a garbage unit, okay? He just is. He's terrible. Terrible unit. However, his is a global benefit, essentially. These benefits here are not faction tied, so all allies gain 50% crit chance, crit damage, and 20% turn meter. Having that at the start is kind of nice, you know? Having a 20% turn meter boost at the start is useful. They are immune to ability block until the end of the encounter, and whenever an ally crits, they inflict a stack of damage over time. I don't know if this is going to bring back something like Grievous Nuke. Probably not, and frankly, we don't really need it anymore. But at least this has got some level of theory crafting possibilities. I wouldn't really go out of there and break a hip trying to get it. Don't run too fast. for mediocre things, and that's okay. All right, guys, I know I'm waffling here. I'm waffling here, but I've had a lot of fun just memory dumping on you. Memory dumping, brain dumping, thought of consciousness dumping on you. I'm just taking large dumps on you guys, basically is what I'm saying. It would really mean a great deal to me, though, if you did hit a like on the video and give me a comment in the comment section down below. Thoughts on state of the game and Datacrons and all that gubbins would be great. I'll see you all later. Peace out, and may the Force be with you.